Today is our Jobs Committee meeting, this Friday, April 22nd. It is of the hour of 10 o'clock, actually around 10:22. We're gonna start our meeting. Clerk, will you please do roll call?
Iqbal,
Present.
Kopi, Lewis,
Who's here?
Molina,
Molina present.
Wallace, Davist, Ford.
Present.
You have quorum.
All right. Moving on, we need approval of our minutes from March the 11th. Motion,
Molina moves.
Iqbal seconds.
all right. Well, we're gonna go with Lewis and Molina first, motion in a second. Any questions or comments?
Chairman Scopey,
Go ahead.
I did not hear the roll call. I am present. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments on minutes? Seeing none, roll call for approval.
Iqbal,
Iqbal, yes.
Kopi,
Copy, yes.
Lewis,
Lewis, yes.
Molina,
Molina, yes.
and Ford.
Ford, yes. All right. Minutes are approved. Moving on with our Office of Community Reinvestments with our Workforce Development Division. I believe Scott is online.
Yes, good morning, Chairman Ford and members of the Jobs Committee.
Good morning.
We do not have any action items before you this morning, but we do have our normal monthly set of financial reports for your review. Those are beginning on page 2 of your packet. And my colleague Maria Gonzalez is on the line and available to walk you through those items. Maria?
Thank you, Scott. Good morning, everyone. As Scott mentioned, the financial reports do start on page 2 of your packet with the memo summarizing the reports at hand. If we start on page 3, you see the information provided for the WIOA 20 grant. As you recall, this grant did start on July 1st of 2020. We are in the final stretches of this grant that ends June 30th. We do have to have all of the funds fully expended by June 30th to avoid any reallocation. As noted, we are very close to finishing this carry-in. It's taken us a little bit longer than we would have hoped. The adult funds are fully spent through the March reporting, and the dislocated worker funds will be fully spent through April. The training benchmark still remains constant at 46%. We do have to ensure that by June 30th, it reaches the 50% requirement. Other information on the job training expenditures for this program year are at $44,000 for adult and dislocated workers, and we still have some outstanding projects that have not been paid. I'm waiting on the paperwork so that we can move those forward. Page 4 of your packet is the WIOA 21 grant. While we have been focusing on spending in the funds, the first in, first out methodology, we do still have to focus on our expenditure plan that has been approved to ensure that with this new grant, we will hit the 80% benchmark. There has been constant communication between both teams in fiscal and in program to see where we're going to land and what things we need to do to ensure that we do hit the 80%. Noted in here, we do have 3 incumbent worker projects that total up to $87,000. Next on your packet and page 5 is the trade grant report. As you can see, we have still 50%, a little over 50% of the allocation to spend down. It's been slow coming, and that's because of the participants that are in the program are starting to finish their training and move on. We do have until September 30th to fully expend these funds. Any questions?
Any questions, comments? All right.
Chairman
seeing-
Ford, this is Scott Berger. I would like
Go ahead,
to add to, good morning. I would like to add to Maria's comments regarding the 2021 WIOA grant. We want to give you a little bit of a warning that we are anticipating going to our workforce board with various recommendations regarding contracting. Those contracts will come to the Jobs Committee for authorization and approval. Those will count as what Maria refers to as obligations. And so those will fill the tank, so to speak, in terms of meeting our obligation benchmark. At this point, we are very concerned about the direct training ratio that Maria highlighted in her report. And we believe that we will not meet the 50% benchmark for the year. So I just want to let the committee know that I'm going to be in communication with DCO next week to apprise them of that and identify next steps in terms of what to do about that. So we're going to be communicating with our funder. I always say it's better for them to hear from us than for us to hear from them. So we'll be reaching out to them next week with figuring out what to do about that scenario. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank Scott and Maria for that. Since doesn't look like there's any other comments or questions, we're gonna move on. The chairman's, the comments from the chairman, I'm not gonna have any. I'm just mostly just excited about after a few years, we get to finally have our round table later on this afternoon. So moving on to our committee priorities. First, we have the economic conference presentation. And go ahead.
Good morning. I'm Karen Miller, Executive Planner with the Development Department, and also Happy Earth Day. Before I get into the economic development issues I was going to talk about, let me back up a little bit. A couple weeks ago, I had the opportunity to attend the Outdoor Economy Conference in Cherokee, North Carolina with Janice Hill. And I have some information that I think the committee would be interested in hearing about. Before I talk about the economic development issues that I learned at this conference, I'd like to give you some interesting statistics. During the pandemic, outdoor participants were increasingly female, increasingly younger, increasingly ethnically diverse, increasingly urban, and came from lower income households increasingly. Counties with outdoor recreation opportunities saw a decline in the rate of obesity. The greatest improvement in health was in the elderly and those with lower incomes. Recreation, after all, is less expensive than healthcare. Those counties were also more successful in attracting residents and businesses, and they tended to promote their views, as you can see in this photograph of the Fox River, their destinations, and the aesthetics. They also displayed community empowerment through quality of life and economic development. Counties with outdoor recreation opportunities should focus on environmental issues, social and visitor conflicts, and economic resources to maintain the environment. Data and trends on why economic developers should be looking at outdoor recreation to grow their local economies. First of all, what is an outdoor recreation economy? It includes tourism, entrepreneurs, and talent. And what comes to mind when I think about entrepreneurs and talent is a fairly new business called Howling Wolf, and its owner, Jacob Wolf, who has started a kayak and canoe rental business in Aurora. And when I spoke to him earlier this year, he saw such an increase in his business that he's planning on doing quite an expansion over the several years in the future. Also, an outdoor recreation economy includes tax revenue. It includes new residents. It includes Main Street businesses, of which Kane County has a lot of up and down the Fox River. It includes gear manufacturing, which is something that I saw at the conference in North Carolina. They have quite a few of what they call gear manufacturers, those that make things like mountain bikes, clothing for outdoor recreation, bike helmets, other things. And during the conference, they really promoted all of their outdoor economy or their gear manufacturing businesses. So I was talking to Mark and Chris, and I'm just curious if Kane County has any of those businesses. So maybe that's something that Chris and I could look into. Also, healthier residents is also a part of a successful outdoor recreation economy. Improving quality of life brings businesses. Economic indicators in an outdoor recreation economy include recreation brings more people. Wages tend to be lower in outdoor recreation counties. However, wages then grow faster once additional businesses locate due to tourism. Recreation counties bring wealth. The wealth divide unfortunately increases, but that can be mitigated through planning. And recreation communities tend to be more expensive. $1 spent on tourism equals $6 that goes to the community. Why study the economic impact of a watershed? Because it increases public understanding of what a watershed is and does. It shows the benefits to the community. It increases awareness among stakeholders and encourages planning for the future. There are a number of models to create sustainable outdoor tourism in communities. An example of which I learned about is called destination stewardship and includes these aspects. Pool your common resources. Make partnerships with municipalities, land managers, civic organizations, private companies, regulatory agencies, and service providers. Connect the dots between economic development, their shared interests, shared outcomes, and community services. Also, create a destination stewardship council to develop a destination management and stewardship plan, a visitor management system, and a sustainable business program. Creating sustainable outdoor tourism can include the following policies. Capture and reinvest the revenue that you get from your outdoor economy. Promote the right housing in the right places. Trails and trailheads should grow with the community. Plans should conserve your ecologically important areas. Infrastructure expansions should be measured. Don't improve all of your trails or trailheads in 1 year. Fund programs to promote your economic outdoor economy. Bring everyone to the table. One of the big takeaways regarding funding that I learned about during the conference, everyone was talking about the American Rescue Plan because it's something that's before us now. Many local governments are using ARP to fund outdoor recreation and open space projects. I also learned that money can be transferred between the local fiscal relief funds and the state fiscal recovery funds and can be used to leverage state grants. ARP also talks about and encourages implementing the social determinants of health, which are conditions in the places where people live, learn, work, and play that affect a wide range of health and quality of life risks and outcomes. The 3 pillars of social determinants of health include neighborhood and built environment, social and community, and economic stability. After leaving the conference, I felt that the Fabulous Fox Water Trail has made a good start in contributing to a sustainable outdoor tourism in Kane County. We've created many partnerships who have a shared interest in the Fox River with shared outcomes, including improving quality of life, enhancing visitor experience, safeguarding sense of place, and making healthy environments. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? Go ahead.
Just a comment. Thank you. This is the second time I heard this morning, and very, very good presentation, by the way.
Thank you.
And I think that we here in Kane County realize the value of the Fox River and realize the value of our outdoor resources, and especially being on the Forest Preserve too. We really, are so excited about all the things we have. And I think looking from the jobs point of view and looking at what businesses can we encourage for this outdoor stuff. And I like the fact that you said gear manufacturers, those companies that are going to manufacture things that are going to support this. I think it's an excellent way to go. So thank you for presenting this at Jobs.
You're welcome.
Thank you. This really shows how valuable our Fox River is and how it's time. And I know our Madam Chair is focusing on this for us to focus on that, our economic development opportunities and our initiative. So I'm really excited to hear about this. Anything else, Madam Chair?
Thank you. As we were talking, I know we have a great look at the Fox River, and that's going to take a little bit of time and focus and energy to launch the Fabulous Fox in the method that we truly would like to do. But I would like to challenge this board, this committee, to also think out west. We have got an amazing amount of beautiful forest preserves. We've got great open land space, and how we develop that as well. So we're not just focusing on the eastern part of Kane County, but to also take a look at what opportunity, economic development opportunity our forest preserves would allow us. Whether it's, I know they're sacred, pure places, and I support that, but how can we, and I'm going to use this word appropriately, exploit them so that we can have economic development appropriately and real enjoyment for tourism through those forest preserves, because they're rare and they're a beautiful place.
Mr. Chairman?
Go ahead.
And out west, we have our beautiful farms, including small organic farms. That's another wonderful tourism attraction that we have out in our western part of our county. The agriculture.
I would agree with that, but I'm looking, and 100% a tour de farms is exceptional. But I'm looking at activity, physical activity, instead of just commerce. So what that could possibly look like, is it a link to bike paths? Is there a, like they have with the national parks, you win badges if you hike a certain areas, and you collect badges. You can come back out and walk all of our forest preserves. Something to develop that opportunity.
Yeah, I would agree with that too. Expand on our water access. Our forest preserve has some great lakes at them that's very usable with trails around them and biking, fishing, boating. So I'm excited about Oakhurst in Aurora for what's going to be happening there with the expanded the parking lot. So there's so much to offer. That's another part of Kane County diversity, is you can go from open land to farmland, horse farms, forest preserves, into more of the city atmosphere in the same area, just within a few miles of each other. Anything else?
Mr. Chairman?
Oh, 8-Ball. Go right ahead.
Yes, I raised my hand. I have two questions on the presentation. Number one, it mentions a water trail, Fox River Water Trail. There is no one water trail. we have segments, small segments of water trails, and we have dams. So I think it should be corrected in this respect. It's a misinformation. Number two, where does this data come from? And if is it published data, we would like to see that. I think that would be good for everyone who it's a uplifting data. I mean, it's everywhere there's a water recreation is developed. It's a positive thing for the community, and Fox River is a great jewel for us. But we'd like to know where the data come from and what's our limitations and so forth. Thank you.
The data was presented at the conference by different presenters, and if you'd like, I can go back and see if I can find out exactly what studies they were taking this information from.
That would be great.
All right, if there's nothing else, we're gonna move right along to our next is our economic recovery rise.
Great. Good morning, Mark Van Kerkhoff, Director of Development and Community Services. And I want to thank and welcome all of our economic development partner guests who came early for the meeting and are staying for our roundtable afterwards. And you're an important part of what I'm about to present. So for the committee's standpoint, staff became aware of the state's call or NOFA for applications for their research in Illinois to spur economic development, or RISE, and they're having a special local and regional planning grant program. This is under their public act designating the emergency funds. It's going to be handled through DCEO. And these funds for this program will be awarded to local governments and regional economic development organizations to create or update regional plans to accelerate economic recovery. So the plans need to address critical local or regional needs and recovery strategies tailored to strengths and vulnerabilities of the community and our region. That's where we need our partners and input in putting together a great application. The priority issues may include job loss, business closures, adapting to trends, housing needs, critical economic, public health infrastructure. It's pretty wide open in identifying what our needs are. Grants will be dispersed, and Kane County, because of our combined population, qualify for up to the maximum of 150,000 grant, and we'll be applying for the maximum amount. So Kane County, along with our 30 municipalities, we need to better understand the challenges and opportunities. As you just heard in the discussion we're a very diverse county, from urban areas to suburban and agriculture. So we have a lot of different needs. We have 30 different municipalities that have all their parts of their incorporated areas in the county. And in fact, we are the only large county without some kind of a county-wide economic development organization to serve some of the critical functions that we need to be competitive in the future. So we're going to be seeking those additional resources to enable to do so, and applying for this grant. So so far, we've been very grateful for the groundswell of letters of support we've received. I know there may be some partners here who haven't sent one in, or maybe they didn't get a request for one. We would love to have as many letters of support and commitment to being part of the process that will strengthen our application. The other part of the letters of support that have really been helpful have been identifying some of the unique things in your communities. So along with that, just as sort of a preliminary tally, we're hoping to add to that today, even during our meeting. But things identified as issues by our partners have been childcare, restaurants, healthcare, transportation, tourism, hospitality. Those are all manufacturing. Those are all top needs. Some of the other topics were employees, students, fresh food, and economic development recovery plans. And to prep you for lunch while you're eating, think about what other issues in your communities because we're going to be tabulating that during the meeting and including that again in our application. So can respond to any questions from the committee now, but we are going to have more discussion and input from our partners during our roundtable.
All right, Mark, thank you. Any questions or comments? Any online? All right. Thank you, Mark. We're gonna move on to, this is our revision for County Code 24812. I believe this is the third round it's been before us. So the idea, I believe, that it goes from here to human resources, I think. So our job here is, if there's no, we still have time to review it again before it gets to the board meeting, but if there's no questions or comments or any changes, we can move it forward if the committee would like. Go ahead.
So Anita Lewis, I think we have done a really nice job of updating this to match where we're actually at in our community. So I would suggest we move it forward.
All right.
It's nice and concise and hits all the key things.
Do you have the draft of it? Can we
Yeah,
read it?
can we get it up?
Blair, oh, there he is.
Yeah.
Can you bring up the,
Bring it up.
the 248-12?
The memo from Chris.
There we go. Give everybody a moment, take another look at it. We've had this before us on two other occasions, and we actually, I believe, last time had a pretty good lengthy discussion on it, that we had some changes made, and staff was really good about understanding and making those changes. So I don't know if there's any other comments or questions for now. Madam Chair?
Just in reference, a little bit of wordsmithing maybe, just in reference to not only the built environment, but also to our natural environment. Creating jobs could both be included, since we're talking, we just had that reference about looking at tourism opportunities, which would be the natural environment. So the built environment being manufacturing, cities, et cetera. Just a thought. It'd be nice, it would be nice to include that element of it. Because if you're going to be focusing on efforts of the Fox River, of our farms, bike trails, gear, manufacturing, that may be a goal that this committee may want to consider. Just a thought.
Okay. Anyone else? Any comments or questions about Madam Chair's suggestion?
I think it makes sense.
Okay, all right. Makes sense to me also. So moving forward, if we could, I guess more of a unanimous decision. I don't know, we actually do a vote on this because it just gets moved forward. Anybody online, any issue with moving this forward?
I have a suggestion.
Go ahead.
Where it says that committee leadership and membership will work with current employers, I'd like to see that say maybe work with other committees, such as the Environment Committee. We're working on green jobs. So not just working with current employers, but other people within King County, other committees.
Which part are you talking about?
Committee leadership and membership will
Okay,
work
all
with other committees, current employers, to learn how the county can protect existing jobs and demonstrate our appreciation for employers' effort, as well as create opportunities to expand the goals of employers.
You got a comment?
Maybe it's not the right
Yeah,
spot, but
maybe we can just change it to applicable stakeholders.
no, that's easier.
Okay,
Yeah,
that makes
okay.
it,
Keep-
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 keeps
keep
from
that
getting too
broad brush.
wordy.
Keep
All
it
right.
simple. I've got the idea, but it came out too complicated.
All right.
Are you writing this down, Mark, or you want me to send it on?
I'm happy,
Okay,
I'm happy to take emails, but I'm taking notes.
okay. Do you want me
Right.
to send you the blurb about adding the outdoor and that part?
Sure, it'd be great.
Okay.
Right.
I love to write things.
Because the CJA jobs are going to be important.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
No, that was good to include
Yeah,
all that in
yeah.
because that is the way we're headed on this.
All right. Anything else?
You guys.
Anybody
Um,
else? Did I hear
Mr.
somebody online? All right,
Copy, please.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, can you
go
hear me?
ahead. I hear
Yeah, I have,
Kopi.
I have a small comment on this revision. Yeah, as it was pointed out, I don't understand the word goals of the employers, how we have jurisdiction on the employers and their goals. And we want to expand it.
I'm trying to see which party's that.
Here, let me.
Man.
Mo Juanita Lewis. So what that was meant to mean is that as we're working with employers, if their goals are like they're going to get more tech savvy, or they're going to expand their manufacturing operation, or they're going to do something else, we want to make sure that we're working with them so that in our jobs programs and things, we're helping our potential employees to be ready for what they're going to be doing.
Right.
Mr. Chairman, Allen,
Go ahead, Debbie.
we already had an example of that with the import-export grants. The goals of employers were to increase their accessibility to other outlets, and we gave matching funds to help that happen.
All right.
I would not put the word goal in it, Mr. Chairman. I would say how would we create opportunity to expand their businesses?
Say that again. You would not put goal, but you use what?
Business, expand the business of the employers.
The difference with that is that we don't know what the goals are. It may not be to expand business. It might be to actually retool machines. It could be upgrade. It could be relocation. It could be a lot of things.
Yeah, then my suggestion would be to just eliminate the clause to expand the goals of employer. Just put a full stop after create opportunities.
Okay. Go ahead.
I respectfully disagree with you, Mo. I think that exactly what we have it makes more sense than to just stop it. Because if we just say create opportunities, then it's like create opportunities for what? So this is our third time. I'm a little upset that after the third time, you're actually trying to change language on something like that. But
Yeah. So we'll take, like I said, we can move it forward and then we'll have another opportunity to actually take a look at it. This is not the last time for changes, but I think it's after 3 rounds of this, it's time to move it forward. The one thing you learn about designing anything or writing or anything else is you can make changes forever. At some point, you have to say enough is enough and and go with it. Any other questions or comments? All right, seeing none, we have the,
Yeah, I do, Mr. Chairman.
go ahead.
This is Kopi. I'm having some conflict within me, in regards to the language, and I apologize. I'm probably in the same boat as Mo on this one, but and this won't be the first time. But who determines whether the expectations or of goals of the employer are applicable or appropriate, and then that quasi-governmental relationship may develop certain biases. So I'm a little bit I got a yin and yang thing going on here, and I apologize. So I'm going to humbly disagree at this point.
Okay.
So
To answer your question, I would say that everybody's involved with that. I mean, with all the different committees that we have, we just had the last board meeting, and I think there's some stuff coming up at our next committee of the whole where that type of discussion is taking place. So a lot of this, when it comes to that part of it, will go through a series of committees and would appear before our board, and before it gets there, it'll be at our executive board with a lot of heavy discussions to get to that point. So I think there's a lot of factors involved in that, which is great. It's not no one person saying this is what needs to be done. Anything else?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Hope you can. On the other hand, I do want to persevere, and I do want to see into the future, and I do want to respect your position, Mr. Chairman. And on behalf of you and your energy and your belief and delight, I would offer a yes vote with personal reservations.
All right, I would appreciate that. Like I said, there's a chance to make some other comments on this. I just want to see it move forward from us, and a chance for other board members take a look at it. So, all right, if there's no nays, we can move this forward. Sorry about that. I appreciate all the comments and thoughts on this.
I would say no, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Any other nays on this? All right. I appreciate everybody's response and comments. So we're going to move forward. Next is our staff update on our Kane County Economic Development Initiative.
Good, Mark Van Kerkhoff again. And a lot of our energy currently is working on this grant application, as well as you saw from Karen, continue to work on advancing an application to the National Park Service for the Fabulous Fox Water Trail. The other effort that staff is involved with, as well as Madam Chairman, is there is a regional effort, which I think most of our partners are aware of, headed up by CMAP for a regional recovery. They have working with two organizations on a regional plan, one being TIP Strategies, working on a evaluation of the region's industry clusters and strengths. I'm going to be part of hearing an update from their work on Monday. And then the other organization CMAP in the region is working with is the Brookings Institute, which is looking at in areas of equity and accessibility for jobs in the new economy. Madam Chairman and I were at a meeting hosted by CMAP downtown that was attended by Cook County Board President Preckwinkle, as well as Mayor Lightfoot. So it was wonderful to see the level of buy-in into the regional effort this time around. So that's very exciting to see. And I can't give specifics, but there's been some really exciting examples of cross-county collaboration for some of the new or either new companies into the region or expansions where maybe the warehousing or production facility is in one county and the headquarters and or other related supporting services such as engineering are located in another county. And I've not seen this level of collaboration in my tenure here, particularly with the city of Chicago and Cook County reaching out and working with the partners so that all of our regional assets are coming into play. So there'll be more on that in the coming months, and it'll also be a huge advantage to our effort to what we're doing in the county, because we'll be able to take advantage of those regional assets and not have to necessarily try to do as much internal duplication that some of the other counties are currently doing. So if there's any questions, we just move on. Thanks.
All right, any questions for Mark? All right, moving on. I don't think we have any actually our new businesses downstairs. So we can move on from that. Any public comments? Anybody here, anybody online? I believe everyone gonna get a chance to talk downstairs, which is gonna be great. Can I get a motion and a second to place our reports on file?
Unanimous consent to replace reports on file.
All right. If there's no opposition, all in favor by saying aye. All right, so I think we have no need for executive session. This will not be a good day to do executive session, which is good. Motion to adjourn to downstairs.
Yes. Motion to adjourn.
Can I get a second?
Molina
Somebody-
seconds.
All right, Molina. Roll call, please. We need roll call, great.